Hello, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting Wednesday, the 19th of October, through till Tuesday, the 25th of October, 2022. So I trust that you're well. How are things going for you in your life at this time? I want to send out an extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, and it is Wednesday the 19th of October here, and it's exactly 10:11 a.m. So welcome. What an interesting time it is. Last week's reading was just like mind-blowing to me because I was saying all this stuff and then I went and re-listened to the video a couple of times last week, and it was just incredible how things just changed and turned as the cards were saying. So I find it very interesting just kind of being in the moment of connection and then seeing how things pan out. It's quite interesting. So how were you? How was your week last week? Did you have a really intense week like me and a lot of us? And hopefully you're coming out the other side, because that would be awesome. Let's do a quick shout out in the comments and then we'll get started. Good morning, Michelle and Lisa from Michigan. Hi, Catherine, and April's here from North Carolina, I think, NC. Aletha, welcome. And Donna's here from Perth. Hi, Jennifer from Michiganda. Oh, Michigan. Sorry. No, I guess that's probably a Michigan joke. Welcome. Hi, Jan and Michelle. And Daniel's here. Hi, Tammy from Pennsylvania. We've got Joanne's here. Hi, Joanna. And Jan got flooded. Hopefully it's clearing out for you, Jan. Hi, Sam. Hi, Margarita. And Sheila's here from Georgia. Welcome, Sheila. Hi, Giami. And Donna's here from Connecticut. Hi, Rita and Donna. Hi, Donna. Hi, Siobhan and Lisa. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see you all here. Thank you. Big welcome to our regular viewers and also to those of you who are new. If you are new and you're listening for the first time, please say hello in the comments so we can welcome you as well. And we've got Jennifer's here. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Hi, Tina from Gloucestershire. Something in England. Gloucestershire. I don't know how you say those ones there, but welcome, Tina. And hi, Lee. Jan's from Victoria. And Michelle says we'll probably have snow on Saturday here in Wyoming. So the seasons are turning, aren't they? So we're going into summer. So thanks everyone who's going into autumn and winter so that we can have our summer at last. Coming out of winter. It's been very interesting here because we moved house in winter, in the middle of winter. Or it was kind of on the early side of winter. So, and we're in the highlands a bit more here and it's colder. So it's interesting seeing the season shift, and shifting out of winter and into spring is really nice because it's been quite cold. So yes, let's see. What do we need to know for today? So what I'm doing is I'm using my card decks here. I've got two decks combined. These are two decks I made, the Animal Kingdom Oracle and the Speed of Light Oracle, and they've been combined to make a 110 card deck here, which is really fun to use. So I'll be using this deck to find the best cards for this week ahead. I'll be shuffling them in a moment, then I'm going to lay them out next to me and then I'll let you know what they say. So I'm interested in what the majority of us need. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. I'm really interested in what the majority of us need as a group as we connect here live or later to the replay. So that's my intention as I prepare to pull my cards. I do recommend that you take on board what feels right and what resonates and what fits into your life. What the things that I say that seem like it's just a personal thing for you, like it's just you and me here, They're the things that I'd really pay attention to. And I'd also be really noticing the things that stir a reaction or trigger something inside me as well if I was listening, because that could be an opportunity to look further into that issue that we might be carrying inside. So the other things I'd be really paying attention to, and I'd let everything else go because they're most likely for other people. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I really do trust that something shared supports you at this time and helps you at the moment or through your week. So take a nice big breath and let's ask the cards. Which cards do we need? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm asking the cards to show us what we need to know, the majority of us, for the week ahead, starting Wednesday the 19th through to Tuesday the 25th of October 2022. I have been doing this for a long time. I just had a, change of words there for a second. So the best cards for the majority of us for this week are the best cards for this week, 19th to the 25th of October 2022, are these. Okay, so let's place them down here in a circle. So we're going to go kind of in a clock shape. In fact, I'm going to go 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then put one in between each one. So we're going to go like that. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. And we've got 6 Speed of Light, Oracle, 2 Animal Kingdoms. So let's start with 12 o'clock. Oh, we've got a featured card. Okay. I'll just turn these guys over. Okay, we do have a featured card. It's our friend, the Cobra Bite. It has further instructions here, which say to take the top card from the deck. So that's easy. I just go back to my deck and I just grab the top card. It's a Speed of Light Oracle. And it's healed. Okay, interesting. So we'll be talking about that very soon because they're the first cards in the spread. So let's see what we've got here. This is what we're starting the week with. We're going to start with these 2 cards. When I say the week, I mean the reading week, which starts Wednesday the 19th. And we've got these guys for Wednesday. So we're going to look at them all separately first. Then we'll look at the relationship with these 2, and then we'll get back to the other card. So this is the Cobra Bite, card 9. And down here it says sting, shock, truth, and illusion. So this is something taking us by surprise, potentially on Wednesday. It may come as a bit of a shock or a surprise. I've seen this come up on the very good side and also on the quite not so good side. So it's not coming up to present fear, but it's coming up to prepare us. So it might not be such a surprise for those of us who know and may be thinking that something might be possible on Wednesday. It's happening to help wake us up to the truth. So sometimes we're very resistant to the truth of who we are, the truth of how our life is, the truth of where we're going. Sometimes we're very resistant to that. So we need, in some instances, like a wake-up call, and that could be what this is about. Now, if we're very resistant to such a wake-up call or such truth, then it may come as, something that may knock us off our feet a little bit to a degree. If we're kind of open to that truth on some degree, then it might not be so challenging of a surprise, if you like. But the purpose of this usually is to confront us, or so we confront it, so that we can awaken up further to the truth of who we are. And this is a really big energy around at the moment. I mean, for the last week or so, there's been lots of resistance confronting the truth about ourselves and really seeing ourselves for who we are if we're willing to see. And it's uncomfortable, and I've talked about it in the current energy report, which I'm about to send out. We're just dealing with some database stuff at the moment, but it's a bit like being in a room of distorted mirrors, and it can be very difficult to see the truth because everything's warped. Our perspective is warped and is twisted and turning, and we can't really see how things really are. We're almost in a room of illusion, even though it feels very real. So it's about we might find that something, if we haven't got the message yet, like for me, this revealed itself to me like a week ago. So I would be very surprised if this was to occur for me personally, because I've already confronted that truth, if you like. I've already been through that confrontation and am coming out the other side. So if you've been resisting it all week, if you're still struggling, if you're still at odds with yourself, if you're still opposing yourself or on the opposite team to yourself, then you may find that something potentially occurs. It could be an event or a situation or something that happens that is there to help wake you up to the truth. So when you get back on your feet, if you get knocked down a little bit and you get back up on your feet, maybe consider, how is this connected with the truth of who you are, the truth of your life, the truth of your relationships, the truth of where you're going? Are you under some type of illusion or spell or delusion in regards to how things really are or who you are as well? So there's a lot that we're potentially confronting. So the Cobra Bite is quite a confronting card, but it does bring that kind of freedom with it, that freedom of truth, if we're willing to see. And if we just keep ignoring it, it's just going to get louder. And it comes up with the Healed card, card 34, and it says golden light, wounds, blocks, and dissolve. This is our healing card for our healing, for our body, but also healing, like our self-healing or healing stuff that we've been dealing with, fear or insecurities, limitations, wounds that we carry from the past. So this is our healing time. And it's interesting coming up with the Cobra Bite. The cobra and the snake, the serpent energy, is a very healing symbol as well. So it means potentially there may be some type of surprise or something that happens around Wednesday that is not only helping us, hopefully we can see the alignment here with our truth, but is also helping us heal so we can move forward, helping us heal from the past, helping us release the things that we've been holding on to that don't serve us or don't support us, that are not healthy for us. And it also comes up for Wednesday with the stag. And the stag is card 49. And down here it says lost, help, guide, path, and discouraged. Now, if you're watching for the first time, you might think, my goodness, these are all very intense, like direct, confronting cards, and they are. And I assure you, they're not going to continue. We have got some good cards coming up that are lighter, but we do have this potential, this opportunity, especially around Wednesday or at this time. Maybe the sooner we deal with this, the better. Otherwise, we're just putting off the inevitable, and this is a lot of the energy too that's around. Like we're beyond the point of return. So we can't, in some situations in our life right now, we can't turn back. Like we've come too far now. And we might be sensing or have this part within us that wants to turn back. It wants to run away. It wants to stop this from happening now. And we may be really resisting and pushing against and trying to stop ourselves from moving into the change that is inevitable now. We can't turn back now. So this is very strong energy. So we've got the option, it feels on Wednesday, if we haven't already, to confront this. And if we keep resisting, if we keep trying to keep it at bay, if we keep trying to resist the change that is inevitable, then we're putting basically all this energy off that I'm talking about for Wednesday. We're putting it off for days to come or putting it off till next week. So let's confront it. Let's face it. This is what's really strong. Now, the stag energy is very mental. So it talks about us feeling or thinking that we're off our path, that we've done something wrong, that we've gone off track, that we've taken a wrong turn, we're going backwards, that this is not how things were supposed to be. And this is also quite the energy around at the moment. So I'm not surprised this card's come up. In fact, it has come up throughout the last week as well in other instances. So we might feel discouraged. We might feel that we're off track. But as I like to say, we can never, ever be off our path, because our path is always ever in one place. And that's just under our feet. So it's our mind, our lower mind, that makes us think that we're off track, our path is way over there, or we took a wrong turn and we're stumbling around in the bushes now because we don't know where we are. So the truth is, and you can probably feel this as true, is that your path, our path, is right under our feet. It doesn't matter where we think we are, our path can only ever be there. So if we can take the time to get back into our body and look down at our feet and see our path right there under our feet, then that might give us some comfort and some reassurance that we are actually on track. So when we're at odds with ourselves, when we're opposing ourselves, when we're not confronting the truth, when we're not allowing things to move in the direction that the energy wants to move in, and we're resisting that, then we can feel very out of alignment with our path and with ourselves. So this is also quite, even though it's quite revealing, it's quite an encouraging card because it's showing us, reminding us that our path is under our feet. So we're not off path at all, even if we think we are. So we need to get back in alignment with ourselves. And I think the key usually with this card is about reconnecting with our body, getting out of our head if we've been very heady and the monkey mind's kind of going around doing somersaults and cartwheels and all sorts of things in our head. And there's been a very heady energy around also in this last week or so. But if you're still struggling with that, ways to get out of the head is to really connect back with the body. Maybe do some things, some small things, take some small steps to get active again or to get focused again so that we're not feeding this active monkey mind that is can sort of be out of control, but also control us or lead us off track, lead us away from ourselves. So very strong energy continues. This is going to keep flowing over. Like I can feel it like a tumbleweed, and it will tumble into tomorrow, it will tumble into Friday, it will tumble into the weekend if we don't confront it. So the best advice I can give you, and coming out the other side of this, I had this tumbleweeding around in my life last week. And it took me a couple of days to kind of confront the energy, to let go of my control, and to surrender to the energy that's there and really confront it. And I tell you, it was an absolute breakthrough. So the more we resist, the more we try and ignore this tumbleweed, it's just going to tumble into our future days and weeks and months, and hopefully not years. I mean, months is well and truly long enough. So this is the tumbleweed. Let's confront it on Wednesday. Let's confront it as soon as possible so that it doesn't tumbleweed forward. So if we can get this tumbleweed dealt with, if we can just stumble through it, stop opposing ourselves, get back into alignment with our body, with our breath, with our heart, with our feet, with our path right under us, confront our issues, be really honest about the issues that we're seeing and sensing and dealing with. They're going to be tough. That's the nature of this kind of confronting energy. Is it's not easy to face ourselves in this room of distorted mirrors and see our flaws and our imperfections and the parts of ourselves we thought we were pretty good at, or actually, we might be overcompensating or putting a lot more weight into these things than what needs to be there. So we've got to let parts of ourselves really crumble, which is not very easy to do. So it's challenging, and it takes a lot of courage to really look at ourselves in the mirror and see our flaws and our imperfections. The real ones, not the made up ones, because it's easy to have flaws and imperfections about ourselves, but in some ways they're pretend ones. I mean the real ones, the things that we feel overinflated about are probably some of the keys. So let's now just put that aside. Let's now talk about that energy's moved on. So the tumbleweed, we've confronted it. We've dealt with the prickles and the prickly difficulties about it. We're releasing, we're realigning, and that tumbleweed is just tumbling away from us now on our path. So let's imagine, hopefully that's today. Hopefully that was last week for you. Hopefully it's tomorrow. Hopefully it's not too, you're not putting it off for too long. So let's just imagine that's moved aside, and then we'll keep moving forward. So we're now moving forward in not quite as linear a way, because it depends on how quickly we get this tumbleweed out. So the energy now feels more fluid. I'm probably not going to be able to really say days now, because it depends how we're going to confront this. But the next energy to follow as we move out of this tumbleweed, as the tumbleweed passes, is the wolf. And the wolf is card 44. And it talks about instincts, moon, cycles, flow, and trust. This is about understanding now that, so if the tumbleweed's gone, we're understanding now everything moves in cycles and waves. Just like the seasons, which are very evident at the moment as we're moving out of sort of summer for some of you, or out of winter for others of us. So we're really seeing the seasons start to change. And this happens all the time in life. We've always got phases and cycles that we're cycling through. Big ones, small ones, teeny ones, medium-sized ones, and they're all kind of like a bunch of clocks turning at a different speed every day, every moment in our life. So we're always moving through these cycles and phases. And something I find really important to remember when I'm going through a cycle that I'm struggling to, or I feel resistant to, is to remind myself that it's temporary. You know, that I'm not going to be waiting forever, especially there's a lot of impatience energy around at the moment too. So, you know, reminding us that, you know, it's not going to always be in this waiting space. We're going to know something soon, whether it's later today, tomorrow, next month, next year, whatever the situation might be. We're eventually going to know. So let's try not to think that it's always going to be in this a sort of waiting game, just as an example. Things are going to move, that the wheel is going to turn. So things are moving in phases at the moment, and we're being encouraged to really try and be patient with ourselves, to confront ourselves, yes, but also be patient with ourselves, especially if things aren't happening as quickly, you know, and there's a lot to be revealed in that too. If we are feeling antsy and impatient, that can also be a bit of a key or a clue to help us understand that tumbleweed. You know, why do we feel impatient? What are we trying to control here? Why are we pushing against this? Why is it not happening yet? You know, what do we need to learn while we're waiting? And then that moves us into the butterfly energy. So this may even be present for some of us now. I'm personally feeling this now, as I've already dealt with the tumbleweed. It's moving on. This is card 6, the butterfly, and it says heart opening, freedom, passion, and action. And this is really about opening our heart, and it's going to be very difficult to do that while we're still dealing with any tumbleweed. So definitely this is past. Our heart is beaming, bursting open like butterfly wings, or wings that have just sort of unfurled and opened, like a bud of a flower that's now blossoming and opening up here in the heart. There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of action, and we might feel quite enthusiastic about a direction now, a new direction that we want to take that was clouded before. In fact, there's a lot of dreamy energy in this card too, so we might find some new dreams, some ideas, some goals, some visions, some ideas that we've got for the future that may motivate us and help us feel enthusiastic again, motivated again. So the uplifting energy here, but it really is sourced in the heart. So it's almost like a freedom, like a breakthrough, like a transformation that is pushing open our heart. But the interesting thing is it's pushing from the inside. So all this stuff, this tumbleweed stuff, even though we might be projecting externally, it's all really coming from inside. And I feel this breakthrough, you know, breaking out of the cocoon is very much internal. So it's pushing from the inside out rather from the outside in. So there might be a bit of a clue there for some of us, or for you if you're struggling to deal with things at this time. So then we're looking at around the weekend. Let's tie the weekend in together. So this is around Saturday and Sunday, 22nd, 23rd, approximately, because like I say, it depends how we're dealing with things at the moment. It's really going to be governed by us this week. So we've got these two cards, both for the weekend, I feel. We've got pause and we've got action, which is really interesting. This card's come up a lot lately, and it hasn't come up for so long, but it's come up like regularly for the last week or two. And it's card 25 called Pause. And it says hold, time, transition, suspension, and limbo. And I think a lot of us, you're sitting there nodding, going, limbo, yes, I'm in a state of limbo. And this is a common thing at the moment, that a lot of us, even as we're kind of approaching and dealing with the tumbleweed, and then as it's moving on, there's still a limbo feeling. There's still a feeling of being sort of suspended above the ground somehow, or like we're a plane in sort of a holding pattern, just circling around the airport, not really coming into land yet. So there is this kind of play that we've got going on between this pause, this limbo energy, and also the action energy that the kangaroo brings. And the kangaroo's card 10, and it says to leap over the obstacle. So there's a feeling here that this limbo energy may hover for a little bit past, as we're getting the tumbleweed out and what that represents out. We might still be limboing a bit, doing the limbo, no, but we may be. So it may still hover, but it feels like it's going to be overtaken by this leaping energy. And it feels so focused, like the plane has come into land and now we're off in our vehicle and we're driving, we're going places. So in some ways, the obstacle is the limbo, but in some ways, the limbo is needed to, in some ways, hold us back from moving forward in a premature way when things aren't lined up or aren't ready yet. So I feel that we're probably going to have a play on the weekend between that limbo pause, inaction, and the action here of the kangaroo. So let's leap forward with focus and movement and direction. And our body is just going to follow. It's going to follow the lead of our mind. So in some ways, it's our mind that needs to get the focus and revive itself in some ways and feel that rise in enthusiasm and motivation. And then our body is going to follow. That's the feeling with this card. So let's get focused. If our body is not motivated, let's look at how we can get our mind motivated so that our body will follow the direction of our mind. I trust that makes sense. That's how it feels with that card. So that's as we move out of the weekend potentially. And then we look at Monday. So Monday, the 24th of October, and we have card 12 called Floating. And it says spontaneous, calling, mental break, and escape. This is about taking a break. So it could be taking a break from something that we do fairly regularly, taking a break from something that's been a bit difficult to deal with lately. It might be just taking a break, usually from our everyday things, something every day or regularly that we've been doing. And it could be, it's not the end. This is not a closing door ending, even though it might feel like pressure's building up and maybe I've just got to stop doing this. Maybe I've got to end this part of my life because I can't cope very well right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're probably at the end of your rope on something at this time, something that's fairly regular, something that you're dealing with fairly regularly in your life, if not a daily basis, maybe weekly. And this card's very much about just taking a break from that. Maybe you need to just say, I'm not doing that today, or I'm not doing that this week, or whatever you need to do, and take a break and step out of that zone for a bit. So it might be taking a drive, it might be going for a walk, it might be visiting friends, it might be stepping outside for a little bit, but it's taking a break, like physically taking ourselves away from a situation that we've been struggling to manage. And usually, as a result of that break, we gain a new perspective and we come back from that break feeling refreshed. So it's a very interesting idea, and I've seen it play out a lot of times in my life. So if you feel like it and you're able to, maybe Sunday or Monday or whatever works for you in your schedule, maybe consider stepping away, just saying, I need a little bit of a break from this for now, and then take that break and see what's revealed to you as you take it. And often what's really given to us as a gift is a new perspective, and that means we come back to the thing that we had been struggling with in a refreshed and new way. And that refreshing energy is very strong at the moment too, as we're coming out of that tumbleweed kind of chaos. And now Tuesday, we have the Turtle card 45, and it says slow and steady. So this is about finding our steady pace. And it almost feels like the calm after the storm. It feels like the storm has passed. And it suggests too that, even if the tumbleweed has moved on, and I can actually say this has been true for me, The tumbleweed moved on for me probably Thursday, Friday last week. And I've just been really just sitting slowly in the aftermath of that. Just coming to terms with how things are, dealing with new opportunities that have presented themselves, figuring out what I want moving forward. So there is kind of an aftermath. There is, as the storm passes, we kind of got to go out and clean the mess that the storm has stirred, all the stuff the storm has stirred up. So we might find that we're dealing with that a little bit after the tumbleweed and what that represents has left. And then there is this sense here with the turtle that things then move. We might find that what I'm seeing is this visual of like a turtle moving slowly on our path. So we might feel that we're okay to take our time. We suddenly feel patient again. We might find that, we feel that there's no rush. So there's just this sense of steadiness that wants to come back into us, especially around Tuesday. But as we move out of this sort of energy that's been stirring things up, and kind of just plod along again, find our pace, plod along with that in a steady way. And that's really all I got to say about that, because it doesn't feel like there's a rush. There doesn't feel like there's any haste. It just feels steady. It feels secure. It feels stable, and I'm really drawn to that sort of turtle energy, the little legs of the turtle very close to the ground, just really steadily, really stably taking those steps forward. So still moving, but there is just this steady, consistent pace rather than the marathon, the sprint. It's more just the steady sort of marathon pace. So lots going on, lots happening at this time. There are our cards for this week. I am going to pull a theme card in just a moment. Before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you'd like to connect more privately, then please send us a message through our website. So we've got some stuff coming up. What have we got? We've got our next online classes are on Friday, the 11th of November, which feels awesome. So we're going to be doing initiation theme with the online art class, and we're going to be looking at balance with the card reading club. That's the 11th of November, still a few weeks away. So you can register for those. The information is on my website if you want to have a look anytime. Also, if you want to learn more about me and the work I do, if you want to grab yourself a deck of my cards here that I created and illustrated, maybe find a pendant or book a spirit guide drawing or look at my meditations. I've got loads of stuff on my website. So please visit templeofbalance.com.au if you'd like to learn more about Temple of Balance or the work that I do here. We're fast approaching our 18th birthday, actually, which is pretty incredible. 18 years online. Supporting you and you supporting me allows me to keep being here for almost 18 years, which is just mind-blowing. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought, indeed? So, let's look for our best theme card for this week. The theme card will help bring all of these days together and help us see the bigger picture for this week ahead. So I'm looking for the best theme card that the majority of us need for the 19th of October through till the 25th of October 2022. So the best theme card is, oops, I'm not taking that because I don't tend to take ones that drop out. I'm just resetting. So the best theme card for the majority of us for 19th to the 25th of October 2022 is this. Doesn't matter if it's upside down, we just flick it around. This is interesting. It's the giraffe, card 33. We haven't seen him for a while. He says to look at things differently. So this is very much highlighting that perspective shift that I talked about. And this actually being a theme this week. And I can see actually how this relates and how this fits in. So this tumbleweed energy, what are we blocking here with our perceptions of this? Because there are lots of warped perceptions that we have at the moment about ourselves, about our life, about our relationships, about our future. So our perspective is going to be really key this week, something to really keep in mind. Make sure that you're seeing how things really are. Make sure you're seeing how you really are as you look in the mirror. Who are you? And really investigate this in your journal. It's so helpful and so revealing, and it gets us past that really confronting, uncomfortable, horrible energy, that really restless energy we get at when the tumbleweeds like just tumbling around our head, and it's all around us, and it's hard to breathe and it's hard to make sense of anything. Like, it's really a horrible space to be in. But if we can just keep looking closely, keep seeing, keep being willing to see, keep being willing to change, willing to shift our perspective, then that allows us to see what this tumbleweed really is and what it represents, which then allows us to move out of it. It allows us to move into breakthrough. So perspective is key. How we're seeing things, how we're perceiving things. So you might find it helpful to ask yourself, or be aware of what you're believing to be true, and then questioning that. Is this really true? Am I really this way that I thought I was? So I really like asking myself lots of questions and then feeling for the honest answers. I can feel whether an answer that I'm going to make is honest or not. Or if I'm blocked, I might not even have an answer right now. And that is quite revealing in itself. So ask lots of questions. Explore yourself. Really challenge your perspective on things so you can align yourself up with the truth, and see how you go. So it's not easy. We've got to stretch our neck out. We've got to get out of our hiding place, get out of our reality that we think is real that probably isn't. So it's not nice to go through, but it is worth it when we come out the other end. So I trust this resonates. Another jam-packed week. Have a good one. Happy birthday, happy anniversary if you're celebrating. I will be back next week for the weekly guidance next Wednesday, and maybe in between for some healing support videos. So take care of yourself, and hopefully I might see you next week. But in the meantime, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.